The Extended A Priori Probability, or EAPP, is a tool developed by ITI that evaluates the difficulty of binary classification tasks. Unlike traditional metrics, EAPP considers not only the a priori probability but also possible biases in the data and features that facilitate the target class separation. The tool accepts two types of input: tabular data in CSV format, comma-separated and with no header, as well as images in PNG or DICOM, either 2D or 3D format. For each task, two inputs must be provided, one for class 0 and another for class 1. When using images as input, these can be stored in a folder or compressed into a zip file. Also, it is important to mention that all the images provided must be in the same format. On the right side of the slide, the workflow shows how the tool processes the input data through dimensionality reduction, clustering, and iterative labeling to calculate the EAPP metric. Finally, the tool generates a JSON file with the EAPP metric value, a description, and additional process information. A high EAPP value typically indicates an easy binary classification task. However, if the task is known to be difficult, a high EAPP may instead reveal the presence of coarse-grained bias in the dataset. Initially, the libraries needed to run the tool are loaded. Then, a set of images corresponding to class 0 and another set corresponding to class 1 are selected from the datasets directory. Once the input images have been selected, the path and name of the file in which the results will be stored are defined and the tool is launched. This command executes the Extended A Priori Probability tool, passing as parameters the path to the input images belonging to class 0, the path to the input images belonging to class 1, and the path to the JSON file where the tool will store the results of the execution. In this case, the set of images selected for class 0 and 1 are two zip files with several DICOM images for each class, so the execution will take a few seconds while the tool processes all the images and generates the results. Once the execution is complete, a set of messages are displayed indicating the actions performed by the tool on each image. Finally, the content of the JSON file generated is displayed. This file contains the value of the EAPP metric, a description of the result, and some additional information.